Hi, I'm Norman Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me as we explore places to go and things to do in the metropolitan area. Today we will be talking about Caramoor, one of the real major attractions in Westchester County. It is a wonderful place for music. It is a museum home. It is beautiful gardens, and it's convenient to everywhere in Westchester. My guest today is Howard Herring, who is the executive director of Caramoor. Howard, with your music season coming up, I'm sure that you've got your program all laid out. What do you have for us this year?
This is a very exciting time for us, the anticipation of a festival. And we have, I think, one of the finest we've ever put together. Andre Previn will be returning for his second year. He'll be doing 3 orchestral events with our resident orchestra of St. Luke's and various soloists. His opening concert will be with Kathleen Battle, and in fact doing a piece that he wrote for her called Honey and Rue, a setting of the 7 poems by Toni Morrison. He'll be also playing chamber music, which is really the love of his life. Yeah. He'll be using our ensemble of St. Luke's as well as some of the soloists from the orchestra concerts. The orchestra events are on Saturdays and chamber music on Sundays, but he'll be, it's a thrill to have him for 3 weekends. He is an incredible spirit, quite a remarkable music maker.
Now you say that he's coming back. Is this his second year?
That's right. He was with us last summer in a similar configuration. He proved the audiences loved every last note of it. He is now a Westchester resident, so for him this is probably the best of all worlds. He gets to make music and go home in the evening to his family. The business of an itinerant musician is difficult when it comes to having some kind of continuity in your life. So I think we're certainly happy that we can provide him with this stage, with this platform for his talent.
How long does your concert program run?
We're 9 weeks long. We begin mid-June. June the 20th is opening night, and Peter Serkin will be with us. Also a young violinist named Pamela Frank. The 2 of them will be soloists on that evening. Roberto Abbado will be conducting. This is Claudio Abbado's cousin, a younger Abbado, but quite a talented one. And this will be an interesting program. Peter's going to play a Bach concerto, the D minor Bach concerto, and of course these days people who play Bach on the piano are called in question by those people who refer to themselves as authentic instrument performers. But I am very pleased that Peter's back with us and that he's going to play Bach because he plays it quite beautifully. Pamela Frank is of the younger generation, and in fact Peter and Pam will play a sonata recital together on the Sunday following opening night. Peter has chosen her to play recitals, and in fact has begun to set aside a good bit of his season on out into the future so that they can play together. This will be one of the first chances that the public will have to hear this combination, but they're certainly going to hear a great deal more in the future.
And you have also scheduled some popular music in the program.
Yes, it's interesting. On July the 4th, it falls on Saturday this year, which is fun for us because we can be in the theater and do a big event. Maureen McGovern is going to come and sing.
One of my favorites.
Yes, she is an incredible singer, singing with all of the agility of the finest trumpet and clarinet players going, and yet still this remarkably refined voice. Rob Fisher will be conducting that night, and we'll be using a group called the Coffee Club Orchestra.
I saw that in the program. What exactly is that?
This is Garrison Keillor's radio orchestra. For your audience who listens to not Prairie Home Companion anymore, son of Prairie Home Companion, this is the orchestra that plays behind Garrison Keillor, and Rob's been with them now for several years. The Coffee Club Orchestra is about to put out its first recording on Angel Records. It'll be due out in the springtime, just before the festival opens, actually. So that'll be fun, too. People will actually be able to hear them at Caramoor and go down to the record store and prolong the experience if they want.
And these programs are in your magnificent Venetian theater.
Yes. The theater, we're very proud of some of the recent changes to the theater. It was built in 1958, and it was built because Lucy Rosen, at that point in her life, and as she watched the festival and helped the festival develop, decided that she wanted to do orchestra music and she wanted to do opera. She built the theater around some Roman columns that are topped with Venetian arches. She literally built the stage up around what had been a punctuation on a broad lawn, an architectural punctuation of a particular garden. The seating area is relatively small as outdoor spaces are judged. It's 1,600 chairs. It's topped with a rather remarkable tent. This is the tent over the audience portion. The performers are protected by a very traditional brick and mortar proscenium style stage, but the two in combination have produced a remarkable sound. The tent, this will be our fourth summer for this tent, and a floor underneath. I'm sure that in your audience there will be a number of people who can remember getting rained on at Caramoor. Yes. You might get rained on between your car and the Venetian Theater, but no longer when you're in a concert setting.
Oh, that's great. I'm very impressed with the magnificent gates at the entrance to the theater, those great iron gates, and
yes.
What are there, two lions at the...
Actually, Pegasus. The statues on either side, Pegasus turned, facing one another, those two statues. Those are rather remarkable and done by a woman named Malvina Hoffman, who was a friend of the Rosens, came to Caramoor at that point when it was a private house. There's been a certain resurgence in interest concerning her sculptures. She's a very talented woman. These are particularly stately, and I think they fit well with that gate, which is 17th century. That's a Swiss gate, and it is mostly painted black with gold leaf on all of the various upper portions.
It is magnificent. Now, you also have concerts in the courtyard.
Yes.
Near the house.
That's right. The courtyard is the center of the House Museum. It sits in the midst of a rather remarkable architectural event, a very Mediterranean-style courtyard. The concerts that we have there are smaller scale, chamber music, solo recitals, and it's a much smaller space, 600 chairs only. We have the corner beds. Each corner of this space is planted with a never-ending series of blossoms. We have quite a remarkable garden guild at Caramoor, volunteers who help us with this project.
And a great fountain.
And a beautiful fountain, that's right.
Right in the center.
That's right.
Yes.
We do Thursdays at 4:15 in the courtyard, chamber music. We do Friday evenings at 8:30, and then Sunday at 5:30. 3 different times on purpose. The Thursday afternoons are perhaps some of our most serious concerts throughout the summer. Very dedicated chamber music audience. The Fridays are mix and match, pianists, chamber music, and then the Sundays are our real headliners, Tokyo Quartet, and as I said before, Peter and Pam Frank.
I like the Sunday afternoon concerts, and I like the intimacy of the courtyard. It's really one of my great favorite spots to go. You mentioned the Rosens, and of course, without the Rosens, we would never have Caramoor. And what is some of their background?
Walter Rosen was born in Germany, but he came here very early in his life, was really raised here in the States, in New York. He was trained he took piano lessons and began to pursue the piano quite seriously, but he went to Harvard University and decided early on while he was at Harvard that piano was really something that he would pursue as an amateur but not as a professional. He did indeed play for the rest of his life. He had a great interest in music, but it was really art that got his juices flowing. When he was at Harvard, he would practice the piano in the house of Isabel Stewart Gardner, what is now for us the Gardner Museum. And
in Boston.
In Boston, that's right. Informally, I've been told that it was really Mrs. Gardner who gave him his who guided his curiosity, if you will, toward things Italian, toward things Renaissance. And he followed her lead, created a collection, summered in Venice in the early part of his life, and then eventually, when his collection became much larger than he could accommodate in his 54th Street house in New York, he found a spot in northern Westchester, purchased the property, and began to build a house that would that would literally surround his collection, protect his collection. Lucy, on the other hand, was more a musician and played the violin as an amateur, but
and my favorite instrument, the theremin.
Exactly. Throughout her life, she helped develop this odd, early electronic instrument. It's called a theremin, created by a Russian who came here in the mid-40s, Professor Theremin. He is, in fact, still alive. He's in his middle 90s now. A rather remarkable inventor. And this particular instrument, your audience has heard it, Hitchcock locked right in. The sound is piercing and eerie, and it was clear to Hitchcock that this was a very usable backdrop for some of the scarier scenes. Spellbound has the theremin in it. Also, the Beach Boys picked up on this instrument, and they've used it throughout their.
And it's played by passing one's hands close to a rod, as I recall.
Yes, there are two rods that move from the center of what looks like an old tube-type radio, and it sets up a wave. You adjust the pitch by interrupting that wave with your fingers, and you look a little bit like a dancer when you play it. The pictures that we have of Lucy playing the theremin, she looks very much like a dancer, only the gesture is from the wrist to the finger and no other spot. It's a peculiar instrument.
I'm one of the few people who can say that he remembers seeing her performing on the theremin. I can't tell you when, and I can't tell you where, but I do remember it very, very clearly.
She had, it's interesting that you would say that. She did concerts in Carnegie Hall. She took this instrument all over Europe. We have reviews from Budapest and Paris and London, and it's remarkable to me that at that point, she was, of course, obviously a visionary. Caramoor wouldn't be what it is if it hadn't been for someone like her who really caused the festival to happen. But it's remarkable to me that she picked up this instrument and just took it everywhere.
Now, the house itself is open as a museum. It really consists of rooms that were brought from all over. So medieval, would you say a castle?
Yeah, it is almost a castle. When we do our education programs, I think the kids think of it as a castle. It has in it a collection that is richly varied, primarily French and Italian Renaissance, but there's a great deal of Chinese statuary. There's some incredible rugs and some remarkable furniture. Walter Rosen had a very strong feeling and an attachment for fabric. So we have some incredible painted walls, painted silk and painted paper that was done in China and brought in the 17th century to Europe. Of course, at that time, things from the Orient were highly valued, and these would have been objects or wallpapers that would have been in the finest palazzos and in the most incredible castles.
I've been there many times, and it really isn't enough to go there just once because there's so much to see. And certainly the people who take you around and describe the pieces are excellent. They're volunteers, I assume.
Yes, they are all volunteers. We have an incredible corps, about 50 volunteer docents. We try to present the museum as a living house. We also do our best to provide each visitor with a guide. We send people into the house with a guide, usually 6 or 7 visitors with one particular docent guide, and they traverse the house. It takes about an hour. You can come back many times and get the vision of the views on the art of all these different guides, and it's quite wonderful because they all have a very personal feel about the collection and the house and the family. But you're also right that you can return to Caramoor several times over and see something that you didn't see before. On that score, it's just a very rich and rewarding experience.
I'm very impressed with the dining room. It certainly is an indication of times gone by.
It is an indication of times gone by. The wallpaper there, interestingly enough, is 17th century. It's incredible slate blue. It's impossible to describe the depth of that color with paintings of white birds and in an oriental fashion their habitat, the reeds behind them. It was found in the Rolls in Italy. It was painted in the 17th century. It was shipped to Italy and never never put up on a wall. So when Walter Rosen found it, and he brought it to the States, still in the rolls, and so the first time it ever saw the light of day was in the Caramoor dining room, which would have been sort of mid-30s, and that's part of the reason that it remains so vibrant. And then, of course, there's the jade screen is there, which is also an incredible piece.
And the huge table and the chairs are...
The Grundy chairs that are there are some of the finest parts of the collection. Giles Grundy was famed during his lifetime and had a very large and successful workshop in London. Those particular chairs were done for a particular prince in Spain. And they are, as far as painted furniture goes, some of the finest examples from that period.
And Caramoor, is it open all year round?
Yes, we are open all year round. In the wintertime, we ask that people give us a call. We do house tours by appointment, but we do them throughout the week. Then beginning in late May, early June, we are open on a Wednesday through Sunday schedule, and that will continue this coming year. We'll go all the way to the 1st of November. It's a short ride from pretty much anywhere in Westchester, and our hours are generous so that people can have a quick trip to the house and then perhaps lunch up in the North Country there. We also, I would add that we have formed an allegiance with two other museums up north, the Katona Museum of Art, brand new building for Katona Museum, and also the John J. Homestead. We call ourselves the Katona Arts Mile, and people can come and have 3 experiences. The Katona Museum is always changing its exhibits, 5 or 6 exhibits throughout the season. The John J. Homestead, of course, a very historical, a remarkable historical adventure there, John J.'s retirement home, and then over to Caramoor. So I would encourage people to think, if they want an enjoyable day outside of the press of urban life and still very close to the Katona Arts Mile.
It seems to me it's so simple to get there. Up 684 at exit 6, right? And just on Route 35 to Route 22 and then south.
It's a very quick trip. It's we're very close to the little town of Katona, and we're only 2 miles from Katona. So everybody who knows the county up north, the Katona Cross River area, they can find us without any trouble.
And it's fairly well marked. The entrance to Caramoor is marked clearly, and there's no problem getting there. I know you're very deeply involved in your education program. And that is not just for local schools, is it?
That's correct. It really is a regional program. We began 6 years ago trying to reach out beyond the number of schools that we were bringing then, and to develop a participatory, curriculum-based educational effort. I'm very pleased with what we've done. We bring a number of school children from New York City. We use the Renaissance atmosphere of the house and the grounds and the collection to produce what we call Renaissance Days. It's around 150 children per day, and they come in costume. They've been prepared by one of our Renaissance musicians, a professional who goes into the classroom before. They're with us throughout the day. They sing, they dance, they react to the collection. And this coming spring, we're going to bring a falconer to fly his birds.
Really?
So actually, we have a wonderful tapestry in the house with a falconer in his full regalia, ready to fly his birds many centuries ago. And the follow-up is, or the conclusion, I should say, is a performance by 6 members of a Renaissance ensemble from New York called Nottingham Fair. We've used them for the last 5 years. They're remarkable, and they do a beautiful job for us. We use the architecture of the house to teach geometry in a program called Patterns and Puzzlements. And in a breakthrough for us, we're developing with the New Rochelle schools a remarkable adventure. It will include both Renaissance Days and Patterns and Puzzlements, but we're going to structure a 3-visit experience. The 5th graders all of the 5th graders in New Rochelle will be at Caramoor 3 times between the 1st of May and the end of June, and then there'll be a preparatory and post-experience exercise in their classrooms, and all of this will culminate in both an exhibit there in New Rochelle and probably something at Caramoor.
How do you reach out to the schools? Do they contact you, or do you contact them?
When we began the Renaissance Days, we contacted the Gifted and Talented Unit of the New York City Public Schools. They were very good about guiding us to the particular 6th grade teachers. In New York State curriculum, 6th grade is Renaissance year. To the 6th grade teachers who would know how to use the theater and the music and the art and the dance and the style of life of the Renaissance in the teaching of the Renaissance concepts. We have also, in fact, next week we're going to start using the Westchester Education Coalition to target some schools here in Westchester. But what has happened is that word has spread throughout the teaching community, and it has been those curious teachers who are always searching for new and exciting options for their children. They've come to us now. Once we started that process, we now have many more schools than we can possibly serve.
How do schools get in touch if they're interested? Is there a number that they could call?
Yes, indeed. They should call and ask for Libby Olson. She's our museum coordinator, and she's at 232-5035. That's our museum main number, and Libby would be happy to talk with them about the various options.
All right. And availability of tickets. I know that I've hesitated sometimes when at the last minute about calling, because I don't think there's a chance of getting tickets. Caramoor is so popular. Are there tickets available at all times, or?
I'm very glad you asked that question. Indeed, we experience more sellouts each summer. For the last 5 summers, we've seen more people each summer than we saw the year before. I'm very pleased about that kind of response, that kind of momentum. But I want to make it clear to your audience that indeed you can get tickets to Caramoor. I think that people are beginning to think of us as always sold out. It's not true. In fact, when we put the brochure out, all members of Caramoor, the Friends of Caramoor, will receive their brochures early. That's one of the benefits of membership. That goes out in early April. And then about the 20th of April, we go to our broader list. Mr. Previn and Miss Battle, yes, they will sell out rather quickly. But there's a lot of other wonderful concerts at Caramoor, and people shouldn't hesitate, even if they think on the day of an event, that people turn tickets back. There are various ways to...
and just call the main number and find out if tickets are available.
Absolutely.
Are they held at the box office? Is that the way you do that?
That's right. We went several years ago to credit cards. You can reserve a ticket by phone, and it'll be waiting for you when you arrive.
One of the nice things about coming to Caramoor is having the opportunity to stroll through the gardens and to picnic.
Yes.
And I know that you feel as if it's your own home sometimes when you come up there. And the gardens are unbelievable. How do you, who designed them, and how do you maintain them?
The gardens are, historically, are fascinating. The house that was at Caramoor before the Rosens built the Mediterranean-style home that is our museum was a very large and rambling Westchester-style clapboard and fieldstone house. That particular house had some gardens that they had developed. Walter and Lucy Rosen kept those gardens, but then continued on their own to put together a rather asymmetrical series of smallish gardens with lawns in between. I think it's true, your statement there of ownership. I think that people, when they picnic, do feel like this is their spot. And we do have more picnickers all the time, especially on Saturdays. People start arriving 5 or 5:30 and spread out their picnics and are there until concert time. I love it to see people use the space in that way. The Caramoor Garden Guild has done remarkable things to improve these gardens. We've even built one particular garden for the visually impaired, a garden with programmatic intent.
How does that work?
It's a fascinating adventure. People without sight, or partially without sight, come to us, sometimes in groups as large as a busload, sometimes one at a time. The garden is in concentric circles, and it moves from fountain, water, stone, to a walkway, and then to a large bed with with blossoms that are certainly fragrant, but also plants that can be touched. And we have discovered through our research that not everyone who is legally blind is without sight. So there are some wonderful, brightly colored red and yellow blossoms there. A marigold that will literally make you step back. It's so bright in the sunshine. So that's the kind of experience that people have. It's a quiet area of Caramoor. We've set it off on purpose so that the fountain can be heard, and so that I'm very proud of that garden, and I know that our Garden Guild is too. We've served people through that garden as they come to us, but we also have created something that we call the Sense of Caramoor series. It happens on Wednesday mornings throughout the summer and early fall. We bring groups in who are either partially or completely without sight. They go through the house on a touch tour. There's certain objects and architectural appointments in the house that can be touched. They go into the garden, obviously, and then we bring young music students from Manhattan School and Juilliard and Manus. They come up and do a 30, 35, 40-minute recital for these folks, and it has become a very exciting program. They get all the pieces of Caramoor that anybody else gets.
There are 2 points in the garden that I particularly like and think about. One is the tree-lined walk. Yes. Now, I can't tell you more about it, except that it stays in my mind that you walk between these 2 rows of trees.
Yes. It's a cedar walk.
Cedar.
And it connects the sunken garden, the walled garden, which is one of our more formal areas at the back of the Venetian Theater, with what used to be the tennis court and what is now an entertainment site.
That's my second spot.
Sure enough. The tennis pavilion, right?
Yes.
It's a remarkable little Italianate structure.
Yes, we love to sit there and waiting for the concert to begin.
Yes.
And we're never alone because it has to be the favorite spot of a lot of other people.
Yeah. I've been told that when Walter Rosen saw that cedar walk, that actually was there. He was looking at the property. That was one of the things that really caused him to buy that property, because it reminded him of Italy, and it reminded him of the business. An alley of cedars is such a remarkable experience, and we're very proud of it that we can keep it going.
It's just got to be a great place to work. I'm sure. When I say I feel as if I live there, I'm sure you feel as if you live there too.
It is a remarkable place to work.
What's your background? How did you get into this?
Well, I'm a pianist by training. I grew up, pursued concert life as a professional, and became ever more a manager and ever less a pianist.
So now you're right in the heart of music. Well,
yes.
It's been really great having you here, and I thank you for coming and filling us in on this information. My guest today has been Howard Herring, the Executive Director of Caramoor. Caramoor is a wonderful place to go for music. It's a wonderful museum, and I suggest that you put it on your schedule as one of the great places of Westchester. I'm Norman Liss. Thanks for listening. Have a great time.